Last video I told you about that your body is the foundation, not your sword technique. So you'd think the fix is obvious, right? Go to the gym, build your base up, and then train your HEMA, right? But here's what actually happens. You innately know that you should go to the gym, but you still don't. And then your HEMA training with sparring comes up. And then you just skip the gym because you're more interested in drilling that one technique that you saw on the internet rather than go to the gym. And then you feel that your body conditioning can just wait, like week after week, month after month. And then your body stays exactly where it left off, where it was. And that's your mistake, my friend. And I'll be honest, it's more common than anyone wants to admit. If you don't know me yet, hi, I'm Michael Kozin, and I've been training longsword in historical European martial arts for more than 2.5 years through sparring and competing. And before HEMA, I never touched a gym. I genuinely thought that I wasn't built for it. I was skinny, I was weak, and I felt like I'm not a gym person. But my HEMA coaches proved me entirely wrong. And everything that I'm about to tell you comes from that exact situation, from someone who started completely from zero and figured it out along the way. I also have a free community called START SWORDFIGHTING, the link in the description. And if you join it right now, I will personally reach out to you to help with your sword fighting progress. So let's get to the topic. Let me start with one of the most important points. You don't need to be fit before you start HEMA. Look, if you got the wrong message from part 1, so the previous video about this topic, let me just be clear with you. You don't need to spend 6 months in the gym before you start training longsword in HEMA, right? Before you start fancy and learning techniques. Before you allowed to pick up a sword. That's not what I meant in the part 1. So you should start HEMA now in whatever shape you're in. Just stop overthinking it already. Just start. Like, believe me. This is the biggest, let's say, constraint right now. If you're a complete newcomer to sword fighting, you're overthinking it. You're supposed to just pick up a stick and swing it to feel a sword motion, right? So you already kind of innately understand how to swing a sword. Maybe not properly at the very beginning, right? But you're doing something, right? You're not just sitting in front of your screen looking at a YouTube video like right now. Okay, but once you're already a few months into training HEMA, the gym, so your body training, stops being optional. You're supposed to get rid of this feeling that not yet, I'll get to it after tournament preparations, or I'll do it, I don't know, a few months later, right? You're supposed to do now. It's a parallel to your HEMA training. It's not outside of it. It's not a different kind of thing. You're supposed to train your body every week, as am I. And that's the real shift that you're supposed to do. Number 2, where the mistake actually happens. So most people in HEMA already innately know that they're supposed to train their body. Like, I don't need to sell you the gym because you already innately agree with this statement of mine, right? That you're supposed to train your body to become better, right? So let's stop pretending this is a knowledge problem, because you already have every information required for you to start. So actually, it's your priority problem, because let's just face it, every week when you're training your HEMA or you're going to some kind of classes that you've paid, right, with your money, you're going to them to train longsword, right, to train the actual technique. And that's why they feel urgent, they feel important, right, they feel and they seem productive, they're justifiable, right? But the gym progress feels like an extra, right? It feels like it's not a requirement, right? Like, you don't really need it because you're already training HEMA. It feels like unnecessary homework from high school. So technique wins in this situation every fucking time. And then people wonder, including you, why their sparring never changes after weeks of training, after months of progress in sword. The score of your exchanges doesn't change. You basically don't start winning your exchanges more. So listen carefully. You can't keep treating your body like a background task on your computer. It's the main program that everything else runs on. So just stop waiting for the perfect moment to start going to the gym. There isn't one. Just start now. Just believe me. And so my third point is about my coaches. So the benchmark. Before HEMA, I had this belief. I know a lot of you have it too, that I just wasn't built for gym. Like, it wasn't my thing to do, like not with my body type and with whatever excuse I had. And then I started training alongside coaches, specifically under their watchful eye. And these guys weren't just technically perfect swordsmen, they were strong, muscular, conditioned athletes. And then I thought, that's the fucking benchmark. That's what this looks like at the top of HEMA, at the top of fencing. Like, all of these guys are at the very top of HEMA ratings. Just believe me. Just look at the HEMA rating, right? You already know these guys. Maybe some of you don't, right? Yes, these are my coaches. And that's what actually got me through the gym door in the first place. It wasn't some kind of random program from the internet. It was just me seeing real people in front of me who had built something that I needed to build myself. So if you don't have seen something like this in your club yet, now you've seen it. You know what the standard looks like now. Point number 4 is stop overcomplicating the gym. So here's the other mistake that I already told you about at the very start of this video. So when you finally decide to take the gym seriously and you start searching for the HEMA specific perfect training in the gym, like a perfect swordsman in a sense, with rotational movement, with explosiveness, with strength building, with specific conditioning, with functional movement specifically for the sword, and then it becomes so overcomplicated for you that you just lose interest in about 3 weeks already after starting, or even you never just start in the first place because it seems very hard for you to keep up. Real man, stop. You don't need that. Just believe me. I actually ran a push-pull legs split, which is actually a hypertrophy program, the kind of program that people actually use to build an attractive physique. And I'll be completely honest with you, building an attractive physique also gets you more doors opened in the long term, right? So that's one of the things that I also want to have, to feel good in my own body, right? But coming back to the actual program, this program has all of the compound movement that you need for conditioning for longsword. It's full of compound movements like squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, all of it's in there already. And the best part is that it translates directly into sword fighting with your strength, with your explosiveness, with your body control under pressure and conditioning. So generally, you get better at HEMA while not doing exact HEMA routine, exact HEMA movement, right? And you get a good physique either way. So basically, you get better at HEMA naturally because you become stronger, you become more agile warrior, right? In a sense, you're able to execute longsword techniques better because you have more base strength to begin with, right? And also, you start to look good while doing it, while training in the gym, right? Because you get the attractive physique also. So there's completely no conflict between the first thing and the second thing. The logic is simple behind this entire program, which is train until failure. Basically, each set that you're doing is supposed to be trained until failure, but aiming for 10 up to 15 repetitions. And some exercises in there are body weight. So just go to fail. There is no point in counting. You don't need to count, basically. And the exercises with weights, once you get to 15 repetitions in a set, then you add on the weight to your next sets. You just add a little bit more weight and just work back up to 15. But of course, after adding a bit of weight, you'll land in a set between 10 to 11 repetitions, which is completely fine. That's actually progressive overload doing its thing. And then you just rinse and repeat. There is no more extra things that you need to know about. That's basically the whole system. So generally, the best gym routine for HEMA is the one that you'll stick to for years. Listen, man. Pick something solid and just stick to it religiously. Something which is very sustainable, but of course also challenging. And that's it. But also, I track all of my workouts in the app called the Strong app that you can just download from the link in the description. I'm not paid by them or something. It's just the app that I'm using myself, which makes tracking my weights and my repetition just easier. If you made it this far, I'm sharing for you my exact push-pull legs split workouts under the video in the description for you. So for you to get them, you just download the Strong app and you just basically click these links in the descriptions and it will automatically copy the entire workout into your Strong app. That's it. So you don't need to design your own workouts or your own exercises from scratch. You can just copy them from me. Just open the link to the Strong app, download the app and just copy the template. That's it. And after that, go and lift some weights, man. So point number 5 is the diet. Stop overthinking this too. The same principles I'm using here as well. Keep it simple or you won't stick to it. So here's exactly what I do. Instead of me counting my calories or counting even my macros, I just do this in a fall. Number 1, water first. You should drink more pure water. Still not sparkling and not sugary drinks. This is not hydration. And ideally, my friend, not from plastic bottles. You should just drink a lot of it. Just every hour, basically. Every single day. Most people nowadays are chronically dehydrated, including you, my friend. And you probably don't know it yet. This one thing will actually change how you feel in sparring and training. Because with more water, you will sweat more, which is actually good for you because your body then automatically gets rid of any toxins inside of you when you're training and when you're physically doing something, right? Then the second point is breakfast. So what I'm eating is actually 4 to 6 fried eggs each single morning, every day. Of course, with meat or fish, with cheese, with some kind of vegetables, right? Just keeping it entirely simple, eating basically whole foods. High in protein, real foods, right? There's no thinking required. You just get 6 eggs and you just fry them. But the thing that I need to point out, I'm frying these eggs on animal fat. So like ghee or pig's fat, basically, right? Not on these oils from plants, basically, from seeds oils. This is the worst fucking slop ever. Don't use them for frying, believe me. And it gets to the third point, which is no sugar and no fast food. Do I even need to tell you this? Listen, man, cut the artificial food slope entirely. This includes artificial sugars. Every of your cookies, your cakes, your candy, your any other slope, like artificial slope, which is not a real food. So I'll give you a simple example. So these foods that your grandparents will not recognize as foods, right? This is not food. So every non-natural chocolate, every sugary drink, just cut it out entirely. It's supposed to be gone from your kitchen. And so the best sugars, real sugars for our bodies are fruit and honey. And here's something that no one is actually telling you, but I will. When you actually cut all of these artificial foods out of your diet, your palate actually changes. It heals because everything else becomes more sweet. It becomes more tastier. Even the raw milk for me became more sweet. And the best part is that you stop craving all of this food because your tongue recalibrates in a sense. And so for lunch and dinner, I'm actually eating whole foods as well, such as groats, protein from fish and meat, vegetables, right, with a little bit of salt, but like real salt. Nothing complicated and nothing of this processed garbage. And the second thing that you're supposed to think of is your timing, which also changes everything. And the most important part here is your timing for your dinner. So for me, I'm aiming for eating my dinner exactly 3 hours before I'm going to the bed for the night. It's a non-negotiable, right? And of course, I'm slipping up on this myself, but I'm aiming for better. And that's it. That's not a diet for you. Like, I'm not here to give you a specific diet because diets don't work. They just don't work, mate. It's just a simple set of rules that makes my brain not think about this stuff anymore. If I'm seeing a sugary drink, I just right away, even with my voice, say no, because I'm better than this. I will drink water instead of sugary drink from a plastic bottle. So I already have water. If I see some kind of cake, even worse, not homemade food, right? Then no, it's right out of the way. I don't want to see it even. So I basically eat every whole food that you can think of made in the home. So homemade. Specifically, not this garbage that you can buy from a supermarket and just put into microwave to get it hot. No, this also isn't food. So to give you a basic idea to follow, if your food has just a few simple ingredients, then you know it's real food. If it has all of these chemicals inside of it, like E45, sake something, I don't know, like, or with a taste like banana from a fucking minion. Man, just stop. Just eat whole foods and eggs for your breakfast. That's basically it. And so it gets to my 6th point, which is your sleep. And you're ruining this too. Everything compounds when you're sleeping. So your gym, your diet, your sword technique, everything becomes better if you have right sleep. It all gets processed and gets better when you're sleeping for real. So basically, 8 hours of sleep is what you're supposed to aim for. But that means that you're supposed to be in bed for at least 10 hours. This is still mind-blowing for me that people don't see it as something obvious. If you want to aim for 8 hours of sleep for an adult, right? You're probably an adult as well. Then you're supposed to be in bed for at least 10 hours. It's so funny hearing from like adults saying that they sleep 6 hours per night, but actually it's them being 6 hours in bed instead of sleeping. So it actually means that instead of sleeping 6 hours, they sleep 4 hours, having basically this deep REM sleep, which is where you actually relax entirely and your body has the chance to recover from the day. And here's another thing for you that most people entirely ignore, probably including you, which is consistency. Consistency of your sleep schedule. It's supposed to be same time every night. So it's supposed to be maximum up to 15 minutes of difference of time when you go to bed to sleep. It includes your weekdays and it includes your weekends because your body doesn't work in credit. You're supposed to get rid of this thing that I'll catch up on weekends, right? While sleeping 6 hours on weekdays and 10 hours on weekends. Your body doesn't work on credit system. Right? It's not a fucking bank. If you mess with your natural rhythm of sleep, then you will break everything else that you're supposed to do daytime. And your reactions in your sword fighting will slow down and you will actually start to regress. So your sleep isn't some kind of optional recovery advice. Listen, man, your sleep is the part of your HEMA training. So your sleep isn't rest from HEMA training. It is your HEMA training in a way. This is where your training actually happens. And so it gets to my last but not least 7th point, which is it's all one system. Your gym, your diet, your sleep, your sword training, it's supposed to be one system. This is the core advice that I'm trying to interpret into your mind, upload it from my brain into your brain basically. And so most people, probably including you, run all of these things separately. You see them as separate things that don't link with each other. There's no clear connection between them. But believe me, there is, and it's even more than you think of. They're not separate from each other. They're the one system. They're the one system. Can I just bash your head to put this information into you? And so this specific system works only when it's consistent, right? When it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's not supposed to be perfect because we're still humans, right? We mess up. None of us is perfect. Even the top guys that you're seeing, right? But the great could be greater. And so you also could be greater if you'd be more consistent. So what I mean, your push-pull legs split supposed to be consistent each week. Not perfectly, not always, because sometimes you really don't have time or energy for it, but it's supposed to always be there. Your push-pull legs split is better if you can stick to it for 5 years straight rather than trying to build a HEMA specific training from scratch from which you will just burn out after 3 weeks. And X every morning beats your perfectly tracked macros for each day throughout 4 weeks that you just abandon after a month, right? And your same bedtime every day beats you sleeping 5 hours on weekdays and 10 hours on weekends. So consistency is the base stat that you're supposed to have that makes every else just work, just better. After this video, you already know what to do. I already told you the information that you're supposed to know, right? Most people already know that they should go to the gym to train their physique up. They know that their sleep matters. They know that what they eat is how they feel afterwards in a sparring, right? So the real gap isn't the information. You already know everything. It's your conscious decisions that you're supposed to choose that your body isn't an optional thing to consider. So just make the decision, my man, and everything else then follows perfectly. Your sword fighting technique is as good as your body. So go and build it. If this topic really landed well, then join my free Start Sword Fighting community, the link in the description, where I go even more in depth onto what you need to train. So what specific drills you need to do to start longsword, what gear you need, what mindset you need, and what just daily habits you're supposed to also have to become a better swordsman overall. This is where I help people build the real foundation for HEMA, for sword fighting. Not just technique, not just swinging your sword. It's everything you need to know and you need to do as well. Basically, it's the whole system. And I'm in this group personally. So if you join this community right now, I will personally reach out to you to help with your sword fighting progress right now. And if you want to go even deeper, join the Vanguard membership group of this channel to support the entire channel. And if you like the content of this video, give me a super thanks. Subscribe, comment, like, and every of this YouTube stuff that you already know about, right? And yeah, and remember, always take the initiative.